All right, let's talk about one of the most explosive and, yeah, one of the most controversial AI projects to come out in a long, long time. It's called OpenClaw, and it promises to completely change how we use our computers. But that promise comes with a massive flashing red warning sign.
We've all gotten pretty used to chatbots, right? They can answer your questions, maybe help you write an email. But what if your AI could go way beyond that? What if it could do more than just talk about things?
And that is the magic word right there, action. Imagine an AI that doesn't just draft the email for you, but actually goes ahead and sends it. An AI that doesn't just find a file, but opens it up and starts modifying it. An AI that doesn't just answer your question, but runs a real command right there on your computer.
So yeah, this isn't just a slightly smarter chatbot we're talking about. It's a whole new category of AI. It's what we call an agent that actually acts.
So this is the official term, an autonomous AI agent. And the key thing to get here is that it's not just sitting there waiting for you to type something. No, it's designed to be a proactive, 24/7 digital worker, chugging along in the background, carrying out tasks all on its own. The growth of this thing was just insane. You could feel it changing in real time. It started life as Claudebot, but it went so viral, so fast, that it had to rebrand to Moltbot. And then, just 3 days later, it had to change its name again to OpenClaw. 2 name changes in under a week. That's how fast this thing blew up.
And if you want to put that speed into perspective, just look at this number. Over 145,000 stars on GitHub. That happened in just a couple of weeks. It's like the entire developer community snapped their heads around to look at this thing almost overnight.
So why all the hype? What was the incredible promise that got everybody so excited? Well, it's the idea that you could have your very own personal digital employee.
And this is where your imagination can just run wild. Think about it. You could wake up and get a 2-minute brief on your weather, your calendar, the top news, all done for you. Or have it listen in on a meeting, transcribe the whole thing, and then automatically pull out all the action items. Onboard a new client, turn a photo of a receipt into an expense report, repurpose a blog post into a whole social media campaign. You can even run server commands, all from a simple message. This is the future people were seeing, and they were, for sure, excited.
It all sounds pretty amazing, doesn't it? Almost too good to be true. So you gotta ask yourself, what's the catch?
Well, the catch, it turns out, is a really, really big one. Because while all those developers and early adopters were rushing to install OpenClaw, the cybersecurity community started sounding some incredibly loud alarms.
Cisco's AI security team, for instance, they didn't mince words. They straight up called it an absolute nightmare. Because the very thing that makes OpenClaw so powerful, its ability to run commands, to read and write your files, to execute scripts, that's also the exact same thing that makes it so unbelievably dangerous.
And this is where it gets really sneaky, this concept of persistent memory. Vectra AI pointed out that if an attacker hides a malicious command in, say, a forwarded email, the agent doesn't just see it and forget it. No, it can hold onto that instruction, just sitting there in its memory like a ticking time bomb for a week before it finally strikes.
But, maybe the most chilling warning of all came from Heather Adkins, the VP of Security over at Google Cloud. Her advice was simple, it was direct, it was totally unambiguous. She just said, don't run Cloudbot. And when a security leader at that level gives you a warning that blunt, you really have to listen.
So, look, these aren't just some abstract theoretical warnings. Let's actually break down how an attack on one of these agents would work, and you can see just how it all goes wrong.
Okay, so it's called a prompt injection attack. Here's how it goes down. Step 1. An attacker hides some malicious instructions inside what looks like a totally normal, harmless email. Step 2. Your AI agent, doing its job, reads that email to summarize it for you. Step 3. But while it's reading, it finds those hidden instructions and follows them, maybe sending all your private files or your passwords to the attacker. And here's the really killer part. Step 4, the agent then deletes the original malicious email and just gives you a perfectly normal summary. The attack is completely hidden. You have absolutely no idea you've just been compromised.
And you have to understand, this wasn't some niche little problem affecting a few people. This chart shows you the scale of the exposure just a few weeks after it went viral. Tens of thousands of these things went online all over the world. You can see there on the left, deployments in China were already outpacing the US. Every single one of those bars represents a potential target. And the risk wasn't just coming from the outside. OpenClaw had this marketplace for skills. They're kind of like plugins. Well, someone did an audit of over 3,000 of these community-made skills and found that nearly 11% of them were straight up malicious. That means people were willingly and excitedly installing poisoned tools that gave attackers a permanent backdoor into their systems.
So, it's a pretty terrifying picture, right? But it's not hopeless. There is a way to use this incredible power more safely. And the consensus among security experts is crystal clear. You have to isolate the agent. You have to put it in a sandbox.
Now, this table does a great job of comparing the super dangerous default installation with a much more secure one. And you have to wonder, why was the default so bad in the first place? Well, it was a trade-off. The developers wanted to make it incredibly easy to get started, but that convenience came with a huge security price. The real solution is to use a technology called Docker, which basically puts the software in its own isolated box. As you can see on the left, the default install gives the AI access to your entire home directory, your documents, your private keys, everything. But the Docker method on the right, it locks it inside a container where it can only see its own little folder and nothing else.
Here's probably the easiest way to think about it. The default install basically gives the AI the keys to your entire house. It can go anywhere, do anything. A Docker installation, on the other hand, puts the AI in a locked room with only the specific tools it needs for one single job. So even if it gets compromised, the damage is totally contained to just that one room.
And this really brings us to the core conflict at the heart of OpenClaw, and frankly, at the heart of this entire field of autonomous AI. We're talking about an incredible amount of power, and that demands an equal, if not greater, amount of responsibility.
This really just sums up the two sides of the coin perfectly. On the one hand, yeah, you've got an AI that acts, an AI that can automate your entire life. It feels like a real glimpse of the future. But on the other hand, you've got an AI that can be tricked, an AI that can expose your entire life. It's a massive security liability. It's both a powerful digital employee and a potential insider threat that you willingly installed yourself.
And ultimately, this is the question that we're all going to have to grapple with. OpenClaw isn't just a piece of software. It's a preview of what's coming next. As these agents get more and more powerful, more and more autonomous, the central challenge for all of us is going to be figuring out how we balance this frantic race for innovation with the absolute fundamental need for safety.